Hello, and thank you for joining me on Delicious by Debbie. One thing I have always wanted to do is make sourdough bread, and I wanted to even start my own sourdough starter. I tried once and failed. Then I had a neighbor who gave me some of hers, but then I went ahead and tried again to make my own starter, and it was successful. And actually, here's what a starter that I have right now. I fed this morning, so it has gone from here up, so it's doing really well. And I have some what's called sourdough discard. It's where you take some of that out. I don't want this to just keep multiplying and not be able to use it. So you take some of that out and I put it in another jar, and I don't feed it with flour. I just put a lid on it and put it in the refrigerator. So this morning I wanted to make some cinnamon rolls, and so I'm going to do them from the discard. So I haven't fed it like that jar has been fed. So the first thing I'm going to do, I already have 4 tablespoons of softened butter in my mixer bowl. I'm using the dough hook. So I've already got the 4 tablespoons of softened butter, and I've got this 3/4 cup of that starter discard. Discard makes it sound like it's no good, but it is. And it smells so good of yeast. It smells like sweet rolls. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. 3/4 cup. And then I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of honey. So we'll get that 2 tablespoons of honey in there. And then I want 3 cups of flour, and I've already measured out 3 cups of an all-purpose flour. You could use wheat flour if you wanted to. I'm using a white all-purpose flour. So 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, okay, 1 large egg, I want a teaspoon of yeast. This is active dry yeast, and since I didn't feed this, it was in the refrigerator. I'm going to go ahead and put a teaspoon of active dry yeast in here. I want to make these now, not have it sit a long time. And I want 3/4 cup of milk. I warmed it up. It's not hot, but I did warm it up, and I'm going to put that in. And then we're going to mix this. We'll just let that mix. Okay, the dough is done. I took the dough hook out, and here's our dough. Very nice and stretchy and very good. I'm going to just let this sit here in this bowl for about 2 or 3 hours, just at room temperature, and then we'll come back. Okay, I want to finish these cinnamon rolls, and I let my dough rise, and I have it here on the counter on my board, and I'm going to flour my rolling pin and go ahead and roll this out. I wanted a triangle. Okay, now I'm getting ready to make the filling to go in the sweet rolls. And so far I have a 1/2 cup of brown sugar in my cup here, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. To that I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of honey. Okay, 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 1/2 of a teaspoon of vanilla. And a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to mix that all up. Made kind of a paste, and I'm going to put that on here. I'm going to start rolling it up from this end, and I'm going to roll it as tight as I can, rolling these. Okay, now I'm going to take this end and bring it over and pinch it off to seal it. And now we have to cut it. I'm going to get my pan ready. Okay, I'm going to cut this in half. Then cut them in half again. And cut each half in 3. And I have sprayed a 9x13 pan. Put these into the pan. Okay, give them a little bit of space so they can rise. Here are all 12 of them. I'm going to let those rise for about an hour, hour and a half, and I'll show you when it's done. Okay, the cinnamon rolls are done. There they are in the pan. I'm going to just use a container of this ready-made cream cheese icing. Okay, those are for me to give away.